you decide to do your own thing and go the self-employed route, you're going to have your ups and your downs. It's a wild roller coaster, but the real trick too to succeeding is those times when you hit your lows, never give up, because we've seen so many people that have tried to do their own thing and
they give up too soon.
They give up too soon. Like they'll hit the moment they hit a little rough patch, they go back to whatever they were doing before, and they're like, okay, well, this didn't work. I guess this just isn't for me. When if they had just pushed a little bit more, they could have pulled it all around.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Career Pulse Podcast, your vital sign for career and business from everyday go-getters like you. I'm your host, Hayward Crawford. I am a filmmaker, financial coach, and content producer. And I'm happy to bring you guys episode 5 of season 2. And we're going to be joined today by Armageddon Beachparty. They are an art duo and creative umbrella conceptualized by MOTU KOZMA, aka Alina and Aubrey Smythe. They are a married Detroit native artists, and the pair actually work collaboratively, merging their strong collection of artists' abilities to create a seamless and organic powerhouse between them. Working as contemporary fine artists, they create with acrylics, ink, and various salvaged materials, utilizing a strong basis of experimentation, while exploring a variety of cultural and tribal influences from around the globe, rooted through Detroit culture. Now, professionally, they've been creating together since about 2013. They've been 5 years independently self-employed, and they've really established themselves as very well-known Detroit art brand and presence around the city. I actually first caught one of these guys, I think in maybe 2014, 2015, through an event at the Seal in Detroit at their warehouse back in Corktown. And we kind of kept in touch on social media. Then a couple years later, we ended up on the same podcast being interviewed together. So I had a good chance to catch up with them and, admired a few of their pieces that I have had a chance to purchase. And basically, they created over 400 original works together. They have 3 large-scale solo exhibits in the city. They've live painted at numerous major festivals around the U.S. In addition, they also do group shows. They do pop-ups. Recently, they actually they completed their 2nd Artist Residency, and they've actually done work for multi-Grammy Award winner Zac Brown, and they're soon to be opening up a brick and mortar flagship store in Woodbridge. So I'm really excited about a lot of the things they have going on. This interview, I caught them at a really busy time. Been trying to catch them for a while. They actually have a grand opening coming up in the second week of July 2018. So I kind of caught them where they have a lot going on, and baby, and a lot of stuff. So this interview is a little bit shorter than my traditional episodes, but we were able to get and hit a lot of good tangents and takeaways and things that you can really take away and apply right away. So I'm really looking forward to this interview. I'm sure you guys are going to get a lot out of it, especially for you artists, creatives out there. So enjoy this episode with the one and only Armageddon Beachparty.
1, go.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Career Pulse Podcast. I'm your host, Hayward Crawford. I'm a filmmaker, financial coach, and content producer. I'm excited to be bringing you our guest today. Once again, the Career Pulse Podcast. Our motto here is, it's your vital sign for career and business from everyday go-getters like you. I'm joined right now by the one and only Alina and Aubrey Smythe of Armageddon Beachparty. How you guys doing this morning?
Doing great, man.
Doing well.
Awesome.
Good, doing good.
Awesome. Great to have you. I know you guys are really busy. You have a grand opening you're prepping for. New baby here. A lot of excitement. 2018 has definitely been a crazy year. Feel free to just tell me bring our audience into what's going on right now.
Right now, we're getting ready for the grand opening of our new brick and mortar Armageddon Beachparty store and lounge. It's a nice spot right over in the Woodbridge neighborhood, right outside of Midtown. And we're about to open it. It'll be our own art gallery. and art-based retail store.
Okay. And it's been a long time coming, I'm sure, and it's just been a matter of years and years of built upon effort. And obviously, we kind of were reminiscing a bit. I was kind of refreshing you guys. We first met about maybe 3-4 years ago. I think either 2014 or 2015. There was a event at the Sit On in Detroit. There's a organization that makes the benches. Yep, back in Corktown.
Yeah, they're really good friends of ours. Kyle and Charlie, they're awesome folks.
Yeah. They've been expanding their organization out in New York as well. So just tell me kind of, take us back to the beginning a bit. I mean, there's so many facets of ABP, that you guys have expanded on. So when you meet somebody for the first time, what do you typically tell them when they ask you, like, what you do?
I mean, I guess the baseline would be that we're a married, collaborative, professional artist duo. And we work under the artist handle and company name of Armageddon Beachparty. So, like, us as artists, we are Armageddon Beachparty, but there's also the brand, which is sort of the umbrella of which all the other different creative mediums and things that we do fall under.
Yeah, so we create in a variety of different mediums, but we're primarily painters. So in addition to paintings, we also create sculptures, installations, murals, like a whole wide variety. And then in addition to that, we've also expanded into creating a variety of different products as well with our art on them. So it really helps to make our work more accessible to a wider audience.
Yeah, most definitely, because it's not just, you guys definitely don't seem just in one niche. You guys, I mean, maybe, may have started that way, but I even remember, like, one of the first items I bought from you guys was like a set of sketched sort of like photographs of maybe, I don't know if it was different landscapes or it was kind of like I'm trying to think. It was like a 3D, what's the word I'm looking for? It was like a photograph. It was like an artistic photograph, but you had different elements of artwork within it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of our mixed media processes. We call it tribal bombing, where we're avid collectors of lots of hard to find things. So we'll take a piece of vintage imagery that's been in publication at one point or another, and we fully paint and illustrate it, making it into an original work of pop art.
That's what that was. Yep. It's still in my home office. So tell us a little bit, just for our audience, kind of take us back to just some of your humble beginnings starting off in Detroit, and what were the things growing up and that led to your initial passions in art,
I mean, for both of us, as far back as we can remember, you asked us what we wanted to be when we grew up. The answer was always art. So when, being born and raised Detroiters, growing up in the city, we were immersed in like all the cool street art, and we had some family members that were also interested in the art, which helped us pursue it and see that, that was something that we could do.
Yeah, and one thing about, growing up in Detroit, I mean, now, sure, the city's going through this amazing revitalization. I mean, call it what you will, there's the good and the bad of it, of course. But there's always one thing that we always took note of when we were growing up was really having an understanding and an appreciation for the beauty and decay of the city, and being able to see that and reflect that within our work, is like to capture a lot of that decay, that exists, showcase the great that parallel.
Yeah, emphasizing a bit of duality, the good and the bad, a little bit of light and dark.
Yeah, I like that, because it's pretty much like, when it comes to emphasizing the good and the bad, it's sort of like, okay, taking this adversity, maybe this ugly duckling everybody else thinks looks one type of way, you say, you know what, it's because of that it is unique, and let me show you how it can be unique in these two different ways. So I like kind of that idea. You are taking that urban decay, you're taking that adversity that doesn't look as clean and polished, and you know what, there's a diamond underneath here, you know, just requires pressure. You know, I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of a whole that's Detroit in a nutshell. Detroit is a hard city. It is a place of adversity, but you know, we feel that adversity and that struggle is what has allowed so many extremely talented people to thrive in the city and be able to take their work elsewhere. You've got so many big names from Detroit in the arts and music scenes. I mean, how many other places can you really say have so much talent coming out of one place? So Detroit's definitely quite the incubator.
Yeah, seriously, I would say Detroit's talent is probably one of our greatest resources.
Mm-hmm.
That we're only just starting to tap into.
Yeah, we're just scratching the iceberg, just getting to the scratching the surface, tip of the iceberg, so to speak. Yeah. So, Alina, Aubrey, what would you say? What do you do to keep your finger on the pulse of your industry, your career, so to speak? I mean, and what I mean by that is, what do you do maybe on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis? What do you do to kind of stay on the cutting edge of your industry and just kind of stay sharp and aware of what's out there?
Basically, we one of the primary ways that we do that is through constant experimentation and creative exploration with our work. Like we always make sure that we're constantly evolving and offering new and intriguing concepts to all of our viewers, and so essentially it allows us to never stagnate.
Yeah, it's really sticking to our guns and just doing the things that we want to do. We imagine something really cool. We have the skills to make it happen, so let's just do it. And that's how it's got to be. If you want to keep things fresh and exciting, you just have to keep on trucking and kicking out like the best stuff you can.
Keep it on.
Keep on keeping on.
And I think a big part of that, you kind of hit a point on the head here, is you build it, you create it, and then you just put it out there and move on. I mean, how many artists we know that spans across painters, filmmakers, you know, more in my field, to, you know, even music, to where you kind of get caught on this project or this one thing, and you're just tweaking along, and you're tweaking the screenplay, you never quite put it out there and move on. Have you guys ever struggled with that, or are you guys embraced more so just putting it out there and moving on? You guys still struggle with that balance, or?
I think for the most part, we usually do just kind of put it out there and move on. One of the things is that we work in about 8 different styles creatively, and that's not even including all of like the various art products we create. So with the original work, we're working about 8 different styles, and we're always experimenting with different processes with those and new ways of changing that work up. And then the pieces that we come out with our original work then evolve into new ideas and concepts for different products that we can create. So it's like it's taking the idea of like a vicious cycle, and instead making that into a positive whirlwind of creativity.
And it's more about what helping to keep from getting stagnant is by experimentation and just trying to do as much as we can, because like you're saying, we work in about 8 different styles, and we don't like to limit what we're able to do, because some ideas call for different things, and with each one provided we just keep kicking out ideas and making stuff happen. It's the best way to avoid people talk about artist block or writer's block, where they just are having trouble having the ideas come out. But when you get yourself into a system of just like your body gets used to kicking out and these ideas and doing these things, it's kind of like the ideas never stop flowing. I feel that the biggest issue is probably just time in a day.
Yeah, there's never enough time.
There's never, and I always hear that, and it's just as true today as it ever was. Everybody from like Bill Gates to Tyree Guyton to, you know, anybody, like we all the same 24 hours, and that was a great segue to, I mean, I was going to ask you guys, how important is the management of time, and what do you guys do in the protecting your time and managing priorities effectively?
Yeah, as we were kind of saying, like, time management is extremely important because there's only so much time in a day. But the best we can really say is, like, just keep working as long and as hard as you can and try to avoid as many distractions as you can. And probably the biggest is don't take on more than you can handle.
Yeah, because I can definitely say we've done that more than a few times because we just love what we do so much. We're workaholics.
It's fine, but once there are those times where when you take on more than you can really handle, you start burning the candle at both ends.
And then no good day.
Yeah.
You're not really serving. You're disservicing the people that you're afraid to let down, but at the same time, you're letting them down if you're taking on something that you're not at 100% anyway.
Right.
Exactly.
And
the worst part.
Yeah. And one of the other big things is being a self-starter. That's one of the biggest things about being a self-employed anything, really, is you have to really know how to be your own boss. You have to know how to tell yourself, okay, get up, take care of this, you know, dot your T's, cross your I's, do it all, you know.
When you're self-employed, there is no 40-hour work week. There is no 9 to 5. The job is never done.
You never get that to-do list done. It carries over. You just got to keep shifting. It's almost like a puzzle piece or Tetris. It's Tetris. You know, every day you got to, time block things. So I definitely feel you on that. It's never easy, and I don't think there's ever just one right way. With that in mind, what do you guys, what is the day in the life? Maybe you guys give us a brief glimpse behind, what's the day in the life of Alina and Aubrey look like from the time you wake up to when you go to bed? Or is any day ever the same?
I mean, it's always fluctuating, but usually most of the around 7 we have our little morning routine of coffee and music, business, get ready for the day, get the baby ready, drop her off east side, and then we start working on the shop by about 11 a.m. Just every day, grinder, stuff, and we work usually into the evening, go pick up our little one, and then come home and take care of more stuff.
Yeah. Usually wake up, online business, work at the job, come home, and then the whole night is like usually handling all that business, more online business, meetings, emails, and stuff.
Yeah, and usually at the end of the night, we maybe get like an hour or two to just chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can function on a good 4 to 5. Anything lower than that, I guess you guys got me beat, 5 I'm good on. 4 I can just maintain, but yeah, if you guys get a couple in, I commend you. Commend you on that one.
Yeah, but it is important to, even if you're working hard, to take off at least one day a week.
Yeah.
If you can swing 2, then that's great. But generally, at least 1 to just recharge the batteries and be able to handle the next day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do need to get better at that. I kind of take a philosophy. I mean, it's not for everybody. Like, maybe not take days off, but maybe take hours off. You know, but days meaning plural means like 2 in a row. Like, I'm not going to take 2 days off, but I'm with your point. Like, you do got to get that 1 day to recharge, you know, most definitely. So, what do you guys do do you guys have any mentors that you guys look up to in your industry, living, dead, local, international, anything like that? In your space?
In a sense, with what we're trying to do with the business, there's a few a few good artists out there that we kind of look up to as like a good business model.
Like Shepard Fairey and
his
Herring.
Yeah, like Shepard Fairey and his Obey line.
Yeah.
Sankey Tearing. There's a few others like. Shepard Fairey is a really good, and Keith Haring are good examples of artists that have made a name for themselves on their own with their artwork, but then they have also built international brands around their artwork, where you can get their stuff online, you can buy their stuff in stores. Some of these artists actually have stores where you're able to buy their work. They're exhibiting all around the world, and that's
is definitely the model that we wanted to exemplify with our own art brand.
Yeah.
Like, that was a lot of the inspiration behind why we're doing what we're doing. But in a lot of ways, we're in uncharted territory, though, because only a handful of artists have ever reached that level in which they create their own brand around their work. Because usually what ends up happening is that, and I'm talking about like on a national and international scale.
Right.
Usually that only ends up happening in the art world towards the latter portion of an extremely famous artist's career. So they become super famous, and they have a whole team of other people working under them. And at that point, when everybody already is aware of who they are, then they create a brand around their work for people to enjoy. But for us, we decided to turn that notion on its head and instead create a brand from the beginning. So that way there's always accessible options for people who are fans of our work. So sure, there are tons of collectors and folks that will, save up and invest in original paintings, but there's also like all of the ordinary people who don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, who don't have like a couple hundred or a couple grand to just drop on a painting all at once. And we certainly understand that, but we believe in affordable art for everyone. So that's why we've from day one chosen to branch out. Like, you may not be able to afford this expensive painting, or
you could get a fine art print of it. You could get a piece of apparel with our artwork on it. You could get any variety of things. Yeah, and it allows us to financially be able to continue doing the awesome stuff that we love doing. But it also, it's just smarter that way, because once a painting's gone, it's gone. And there's a few paintings we've done where the painting itself sold a long time ago, but that painting itself we have in print form, and they're some of our top sellers. Like, people, for some reason, those paintings just really appeal to a wide audience. So said painting that already has sold can still be one of our biggest sellers on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It can still be a fan favorite all the time, rather than the minute that painting sells, having it just be gone forever.
Yeah.
Right. Versus that can be on your website 2-4 in the morning, it gets sold, and that's passive income. Where that painting or something like it can get sold.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, and that's very it's part of just the online world we're in now, but it's a very good mindset to keep in mind. So what do you guys ever struggled maybe comparing yourself to what other people are doing, or what this person's doing, or this person just got this fellowship, or just linked up with this? Do you ever find yourself struggling to compare yourself to where other people are at, or other people's success?
Maybe a little bit in the very beginning, but not really. And
yeah, not like really at all within our career. Once we got our footing past the first like year or two of being self-employed, we've been self-employed for 5 years now. Past those first like, you know, that first maybe 2 years where we were just really figuring everything out on our own. After that, I mean, it's been mostly just on the up and up. Like we've always, through the past number of years, we've always made sure that we were progressing and doing things that nobody else that we knew had even thought of doing. So, I mean, really?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, long hair don't care, you know.
So we've been very fortunate because there's because we've been so driven and we've put ourselves out there as much as possible, doing gallery exhibitions, throwing our own shows and vending and showing our work at national festivals all over the country. Like, it's a lot of hard work, but it's allowed us to be in the right place at the right time for a lot of big
Major
opportunities that present themselves. And like, there's a lot of people that'll be like, oh, you were really lucky to have that happen. It's like, yeah, I guess we were kind of lucky, but it took a hell of a lot of hard work to get there in the first place.
Yeah, like, I mean, for example, we're some of the only like Detroit native artists that are currently creating in the city that have actually exhibited our work and traveled a bunch through our art nationally. We're some of the only ones that have done that kind of stuff. And now we're about to be like some of the only artists to open our own artist-owned brick and mortar space, you know? So, hey.
Hard work. It's funny when you mention that point about people just saying, oh, that person got lucky, or, you know, they don't see half of what you did or what struggles you went through, or, you know, when you were on your last luck, or, you know, we all have the people that may go off and get the good corporate job and they're making more money than us for 5-10 years. And, you know, they didn't call us lucky then, you know, but then all of a sudden when you make it, you get that. That's in every industry, you know. So, great point.
Definitely didn't just get lucky.
Yeah. So, as we wrap up, I mean, looking back, would you guys change a thing? Do you feel like everything went the way it was supposed to and just roll with the punches? Or looking back like, well, I could have did this a little bit better and maybe, you know, pivoted toward here quicker than later? How do you feel about that?
I think for the most part, we probably would have done it about the same. There's a few things that I guess in the first like 2 years we were kind of still figuring out what the overall brand aesthetic was, where it was there, but it's been refined a lot more over the years. So I think that's just the thing, is if we had been able to, earlier on, really nail down what the exact brand aesthetic was, that would have been nice. But
yeah, and the only other thing would really be that we overall pretty much because, you know, like the art world and the business world is like a game of chess. The one thing I guess would also be, you know, we're opening our brick and mortar space, which we're really excited about, and it's like the greatest thing we have ever done, and it's what we've always like wanted, kind of not the end game, but it's always been one of the major goals. One of the things about it though is that we've been wrapped up in getting open for the past 2 years, and I just wish that we had known part of what we were getting into.
Experience is the best teacher.
It caused
You know?
Yeah, it caused 2 years of us being kind of in a gridlock. So there is that. But hey, it all works out in the end. So hey.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, you know, experience is the best teacher. It's kind of like you can read everything about driving a car. You can read all the textbooks and sit in Sierra's driving school for 6 weeks. But at the end of the day, you gotta get behind that wheel. You know. So yeah. So as we wrap up, I know we got about 5 minutes left. I definitely want to get you guys out on time. Perhaps we can maybe revisit, maybe dig a little deeper, maybe in the coming months, or just depending on your schedule. You know, no pressure.
Yeah.
But, obviously, you guys got a lot going on. We'll put some on the calendar. I'll definitely have to come by your. I did receive the dates in the email too for your opening, so I'll definitely have to drop by. You know.
Yeah. We're opening. The grand opening weekend, we're doing a giant 3-day extravaganza. It's going to be Friday, July 13th through Sunday, July 15th. We're going to have live bands, DJs. We're even hosting a really interesting cultural event on Sunday involving the authors of Deliver Us and also Amanda Knox and the Scarlet Letter Reports.
Oh wow, the real Amanda Knox?
Yes.
Yeah.
The real Amanda Knox.
In the flesh. Okay.
Yeah. That'll be a really interesting thing. So yeah, Friday will be bands, Saturday will be DJs, and then that Sunday, as you started to say, the Deliver Us is this book, this new book written by these guys that are originally from Detroit, but they've been out in Seattle for the last few years, and so they wrote this book that's Detroit in the not too distant future, kind of the hypothetical if Amazon were to pick Detroit as their next headquarters. And, you know, the proliferation of these Amazon delivery drones, how they're becoming more prevalent. So it's kind of this this wild, zany underdog story of this older black gentleman that shoots one down and his wacky legal battles against the big corporation, Amazon.
And him banding together with a bunch of other Detroiters against this major corporation.
So it's really cool. And then, the real Amanda Knox, she's just started doing this series, the Scarlet Letter Reports with Vice. And so...
Oh, okay, HBO Vice.
Yeah. Yep. So she's going to be doing a screening of her newest episode, along with the book signing.
Yep. And then for Friday, we're gonna have Friday will be the live bands. We'll have Sisters of Your Sunshine Vapor, Roxolidian, the Imaginatron, Rusty Daggers, and a few others. And for Saturday will be a night of DJs. We'll have DJ Calico coming out of retirement for us. We're going to have Parallax, Sheefy McFly.
Familiar with Sheefy.
We'll also have Photon. Yep.
Wow, that's an action-packed weekend. Well, we've crossed paths at a different, Detroit. He probably doesn't remember me, but his name's been around. He's been around a while, so.
Yeah. We actually went to high school together.
Okay. Which high school?
So known that dude since the way back.
Nice. Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned all that. This episode should be out within the next 2 to 3 days, so we'll definitely make sure to put the dates in there and things like that. Obviously, we can follow you guys at www.armageddonbeachparty.com. You guys are all on social media. I highly recommend to the listeners out there, follow them on Instagram. You guys on Snapchat too? Snapchatting it up?
No. Haven't really got into Snapchat yet.
Okay, I haven't really either, but I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, you guys kill it on Instagram though. That's awesome.
We'll try.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, yeah, we'll have the event page for the grand opening up in like the next 2 days as well. So. Okay,
great. And I'll put a lot of those links you put in the press kit. I'll put that in the notes. So one last thing, just as we wrap up, I know you guys got to go. What can you give our listeners as 3 takeaways? Maybe they're aspiring artists. They're really kind of just getting started, not sure what path to go. I know you guys are probably there maybe 10 years ago, just kind of figuring things out. What are like 3 good takeaways you can give to our audience just on, taking the artist path?
I'd say if you decide to do your own thing and go the self-employed route, you're going to have your ups and your downs. It's a wild roller coaster, but the real trick too to succeeding is those times when you hit your lows, never give up, because we've seen so many people that have tried to do their own thing and
they give up too soon.
They give up too soon. Like the moment they hit a little rough patch, they go back to whatever they were doing before, and they're like, okay, well, this didn't work. I guess this just isn't for me. When if they had just pushed a little bit more, they could have pulled it all around.
Yeah. Another thing is never let anybody tell you what you can or cannot achieve, because 95% of people don't know what they're talking about anyway. whatever vision it is that you have in your head, make sure you push forward on that. Find ways to make it work. As long as you now it's important that you have talent, but as long as you have talent, passion, and determination, you can make it happen.
Yeah. So
don't stop believing.
Wow, that's so cheesy.
I know.
So cheesy.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Hey, South Detroit. All right. Okay, talent, hard work, determination. Okay, Alina, Aubrey, thank you, of Armageddon Beachparty on the Career Pulse podcast, episode 5 of season 2. Look out. This episode will be dropping soon. And thanks, guys. I'll let you guys get back to it.
Thanks, Hayward. It's great talking to you, man.
All right, I'll see you guys at the big weekend.
All right, see you then. All
right.
Man.
All right, guys, there it was, Armageddon Beachparty, Detroit, on the Career Pulse podcast, episode 5, season 2. Really excited. Once again, I apologize about some audio issues. We had a couple things going on. I was actually running late to the studio. They had some compressed deadlines, didn't have as much time for the interviews as originally scheduled, so we had to improvise. The quality may have not been perfect as far as the sound, but we just kind of made do, and we just kind of rolled with the punches, and have really had some good takeaways and conversations. So if you want to keep following Armageddon Beachparty, it's Armageddon Beachparty Detroit on social media, especially on Instagram, Facebook, and by the time this episode should come out, it'll probably be about a week or so away. They're going to be having a grand opening extravaganza. That's going to be Friday, July 13th through Sunday, July 15th, 2018, over in Midtown. That's 1517 Putnam Street, Detroit, Michigan. And they're going to have an exhibition of all their original work throughout the weekend. They're going to have live music, even the DJs, and even live artists and poet and author readings. So it's going to be really exciting. That's July 13th through the 15th. We'll make sure to get this out before then, so you guys can go down to Midtown and check it out. But other than that, guys, great having you guys here. If you've been sticking around with me this long, thank you. You could have dropped off like episode 2 or 3. But you're still hanging in there. And once again, I'm your host, Hayward Crawford, and I'll see you next time on the Career Pulse podcast.